Welcome, sentient beings from all known universes and beyond. It's time to activate your cranial downlinks and prepare to receive a raft of discussion on a cosmic ocean of science fiction and fantasy topics, interviews with local area genre devotees, and insightful prognostication by our soothsayers of science fiction, our forecasters of fantasy, and any other beings that happen to get caught in our gravity well. This is the Galactic Driftwood Podcast.
Hello, folks, and welcome to this episode of the Galactic Driftwood Podcast. I'm Bill.
I'm Linda.
I'm Charles.
I'm Seth.
I'm Chris.
And Seth, why don't you take it away? Tell them what we're going to talk about this time.
Well, unfortunately, we're starting off with some bad news.
Yeah.
I mean, this will be coming out the week after, but this week, Kevin Conroy died, and I'm very sad. Because, for those not in the know, Kevin Conroy was the voice of Batman for the starting with the 1992 Batman the Animated Series. And then, if you wanted to have a good Batman voice, it was almost Kevin Conroy or no one, because he set the standard for that voice with the animated series. He'd go on to reprise his role in the Justice League series, in almost anywhere where Bruce Wayne was animated, he'd be the voice actor. So he was in Batman Beyond. He was in Batman in most, if not all of, probably not all, but a good majority of the DC Universe animated movies, which I can't recommend enough.
As well as the video games.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, as well as the wonderful Arkham series and the good Injustice series as well. Like, him and Mark Hamill were kind of the two, just like defining voices almost of that series.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah, and he was only 66.
I know, very sad.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That seems awfully young to me now that I'm almost 65.
He was apparently battling intestinal cancer.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. Right. So.
Yeah, it says that he did not publicly disclose he was ill, so this is kind of a shock to everyone.
Okay.
So has he been in any productions recently, or are these animated episodes he's been in, are they been out for a while? Or
I mean, he's been Batman since 1992.
Yeah, I was just wondering if he'd been in embodying the voice of that character in recent.
Oh yeah,
all the way up to even this most recent couple of years, 2019. He did Bruce Wayne.
Oh wow!
And a couple other ones. He did the voice of Hordak and He-Man and the Masters of the Universe in 2022. But last one he did with Bruce looks like to be like 2019 in the Batman series.
He's credited for a 2023 movie as Thomas Wayne in Batman Caped Crusader.
Oh, there we go. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So he's all over. Literally was doing this. Looks like up to his final days. So
yeah.
He was also in a show in 2016 called Yoga Hosers.
What?
Oh yeah.
And his role was Canadian Bat Man.
Wow.
Nice. Okay, so we have to add this to the to-do. What?
Yes. To watch
it's
Yoga
watch
Hosers.
Canadian hosers.
It's worth a watch.
That's hosers.
Oh, I'm forgetting names now. The director of Clerks, or comic.
Oh,
book
Kevin
writer.
Smith.
Yeah, his daughter, I think, did yoga.
Oh, that would explain a lot. Okay, we got to add this to our to do then. I was not aware of that. Holy smoke!
Yeah, I'm looking through the
I think that's right.
IMDb, and he's done
A lot.
a lot
lot.
of voice acting, and a lot of it is Batman.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Oh, that's too
yeah,
bad.
Batman.
Yeah, he really carried the torch on that character, like you mentioned, from getting it on the animated series through the video games and everything else, kind of, beyond that. So, I grew up listening to him, so it'd be kind of interesting, if I pick up the change in the future, recognizing that it's someone else, or whether someone else can get close to kind of matching what he was able to do with his broad range of voice. So as Batman also changed over the times, different series had a darker or a more lighter Batman, depending on which series it was, and he would kind of adopt to those as well. So it'll be interesting to know how well we discern that difference later.
Hmm.
All right, well, here it is. The poster for Yoga Hosers.
Oh,
Do
God.
your worst.
Wow. Yep.
I
don't
think
think-
that's definitely our next review.
I don't think I'm going to be watching that one.
I don't know.
But you
that it-
watch Space Truckers.
Yeah,
No,
that's right.
Please,
There's
please
only
don't
so
remind me.
much a person can suffer, Chris.
We won't go down that rabbit hole, but I think
it's a good movie.
Yeah, I think it's a must see for the Galactic Driftwood crew. I don't know that it has anything to do with science fiction, fantasy, or horror. Although maybe
It looks
it's
pretty
going to be
horrible to
a
me.
particularly
Well,
horrible show to watch.
No, it's technically horror, but
It is.
yeah, Canadian convenience store horror. Yeah,
Convenience store.
could be entertaining.
it's if you're scared of convenience store food, this is
The one to watch.
the one to watch. Yeah.
Awesome. All right.
Yeah, we'll put that on the must see list. I was oh yeah, here. Oh, this apparently is also a clip from a scene in that same show.
Oh, dear.
And
Oh, dear.
what
this is
the hell
gonna be
that
good.
supposed to be?
I think that is
Kind of turnip head.
Onion head.
No, that is a sausage Hitler.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
hence
my
the
God.
worst.
Yes,
W-U-R-S-T. Okay.
Ba-boom.
And for our listeners who couldn't see the poster, it had a tagline: "Do your worst,"
W.
and the worst was spelled W-U-R-S-T. So cheddar, or like bratwurst, and so it looks like they're fighting sausages in uniforms who look like Hitler.
Well, ahead of time.
We were supposed to be talking about Kevin Conroy.
Yeah,
Right.
No, he's in this.
He's in
So-
this, though, apparently.
Oh, that poor man.
Uh-huh. Huh.
This I don't remember which one came first, but this is a take on the Yoga Hosers was sort of invented when he did the Walrus. I think it's called the Walrus.
Why?
Oh, was he in that?
Well, the girls are when all the detective, the podcaster, and the detective all stop off at the convenience store,
Oh, dear. I am not watching this. Okay.
and so that invented the Yoga Hosers movie.
No.
You have the two girls at the
No.
convenience
Wow.
store.
Oh, my God.
It's a good movie.
And Stan Lee has a appearance in it. Awesome. That's great.
Well, then that makes it worth watching just right there.
Okay.
Here we go.
I
Okay.
can't believe you guys haven't watched it, actually.
Have you seen it, Charles?
Well, that's why yes.
Oh, my God.
Okay. All right. Well, we definitely have that on the list now.
Uh-huh.
Yoga Hosers.
Okay.
We'll have to see how that compares with Space Truckers.
Ugh.
Yeah, I'm with Linda.
Yeah, we need actually a category or something that we rank here between
Yeah.
Like
you
Rotten
know,
Tomatoes
Yeah,
only.
the-
we
the
need to have like a
Llamageddon-
scale.
yeah, like the
then we can
Llamageddons
move the
to your
bar
space
up and down.
truckers to
Yeah. Llama,
we give
space llamas to.
we give this movie 3.5 pieces of floating space junk out of 5.
right.
What's it called? Rotten
That's what we should
turd.
call it. It's a space junk chart, you know.
Yes,
Space junk.
I like it. I like it.
Back on Conrad though.
Yeah.
Obviously people had tributes to pay or eulogies. It's worth noting Kevin Smith is probably one of Kevin Conroy's biggest fans, friends, if you will. So he also gave a YouTube I won't say tribute. He was speaking somewhere a few days ago, but he gave a kind of a heartfelt eulogy, if you will, to Kevin Conroy a few days ago, and it's worth a watch as well. And he'll tear up like he does, but it's good work. It's a good worth watch. It's only a few minutes, but a lot of people had a lot of great things to say about someone who had such a broad impact on the image and the voice of Batman for such a long time.
I need to correct myself. It's Tusk was the name of the movie that this overlaps with.
Oh. It
Important.
overlaps with Tusk?
I just explained it. Yes,
Oh,
it's the same
I
convenience
missed
store
you
in the
saying
same
that. I'm
row.
sorry.
Anyway.
Ah.
Yep, Mark Hamill as well.
Mhm.
The Joker voices. It's pretty good scenes with them both together.
They had a good chemistry.
They did, yeah. For a chemistry that you'd want to see, depending on the storyline of Batman and Joker that you're following, they were really great together for that.
I mean, they did. Like they were in so many different things in so many different ways.
Yeah.
So like they portrayed the relationship in the 1992 animated series, which is so heavily censored by people that you should look up the censoring stuff they had to deal with on Batman the animated series.
I'm sure.
In fact, any kids cartoon series from the 90s
would have had to go through
weird things, like they could in X-Men that you couldn't say death or kill, but so they had eliminate him or terminate them because you couldn't say kill or murder or death. But yeah, in Batman it was kind of the same way. Batman, oh man, was it Batman or Spider-Man? It was Spider-Man. You could never show Spider-Man hitting someone, but there were some really weird rules for Batman too. Like he could never kill a person or through inaction let them be killed, which is kind of Batman. But it was also he can't ever hold a gun. Like he can't even pick it up or take it away from someone.
Wow.
And that was the censors rules or the studio's rules? Because it sounds more like the studios might have a rule say, well, this is Batman, this is the way he should be portrayed.
It sounds like that, doesn't it? But
yeah, it does.
well, but that's.
I mean, they have a similar thing, I think, for Doctor Who, the studio that does him, because he's supposed to be, a pacifist, doesn't ever use a gun, hold a gun, carry a gun.
Right.
He uses his mind to figure out solutions to problems and trick the bad guys into doing the dumb thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, just wondering if maybe that's the case here, but are you researching that?
Yeah, I'm trying to find the set of rules and weird things I read, but I'm not finding it. We might have to talk, just like do an episode sometime when I've got.
Sounds like it could be either
weird things that they do. Yeah.
Good idea.
Yeah, like some of the restrictions that the studios put on their writers are really crazy. especially for children's programming.
Oh, I can imagine.
Yeah, that would be tough. Trying to do a children's show and making it dramatic and making it realistic.
Bill?
You don't have to make it dramatic.
Yeah.
I suppose.
Bill, I think you had pictures for us.
Kids
Well-
just watch cartoons, whatever.
I actually do have some pictures. So longtime listeners of the show will no doubt be familiar with our friend Bill Hedges, who lives up in Lyons, Nebraska, who has a film studio up there called Cosmic Films Studio, and he films a YouTube science fiction series called Cosmic Cat, where he travels the galaxy with his cat in a spaceship and goes on all kinds of weird adventures, and does a great job with the special effects and the graphics, and just everything's amazing. But anyway, there he is.
Kittens.
Shown
Kitty.
standing outside of his recreation of the Jupiter 2 spacecraft from Lost in Space. There's his cat. So his cat's name is Penny, named after one of the kids from Lost in Space. And he plays a guy, Will. I can't think of his last name in the episode. But anyway, it's a fun series. If you get out on YouTube, just look up Cosmic Cat. And you can see some of his episodes. He's won a lot of awards from local area, film. What do they call those? Film.
The film festivals.
Festival. Yeah, that's the word I'm looking for.
Wow, we
Anyway,
we can't find words today, can we?
No. So there's Bill. There's one of his spacecraft, and he's doing a little landing scene there in the studio. And he's got a full-size mock-up of the interior. Well, not full-size, but a mock-up of the interior of the ship as well. So anyway, so I thought, well, it'd be kind of fun maybe to go up there with my vast array of Star Wars droids and get some pictures of my Star Wars droids in the Jupiter 2. Kind of do a little mashup kind of a thing. So this is one of the scenes there. So this is in his film studio, which is in downtown Lyons. It's actually an old converted movie theater that he's turned into a movie studio. So he's got this mock-up. It's like, not quite half of the front half of the Jupiter 2 that he has sitting there. But it's such that it works well for his Cosmic Cat series, to avoid any copyright infringement. Of course, he couldn't do the exact Jupiter 2. So his ship is more elongated, has kind of fins in the back, looks more aerodynamic, I guess, less like a flying saucer. So, but the front of it is identical to the Jupiter 2. So he's able to use the front and incorporate that into a different looking ship for the show. So that worked out pretty good. Here's
in that previous picture, were they cleaning? Is that, I see one with a broom.
Yeah, so you can see the one with the dust whisk broom there, cleaning off the gantry. So
droids.
the theory, my operating premise here was that my spacecraft, maybe similar or slightly larger to the Razor Crest from Mandalorian, crashed on this strange world. And we had to go looking for parts. And in the process, we stumbled across this spaceship that had been obviously, quote, lost in space for some time when we found it. And so we decided, well, let's just spruce this one up and we'll take off on this one and cannibalize parts from my other ship. So that's why we got them with the whisk broom. These guys here are gold bricking, playing a little space chess, because you can't just call anything by its real name. You have to add space in front of it when you're doing a sci-fi thing. And there's a couple little aliens watching them play. And then,
oh my gosh.
You can't see it, but here in the window, that one guy standing up there, he's got a bottle of Windex, and they all have paper towels. They're washing the windows.
Oh, how cute.
I've got another picture of that, but I didn't include it in my deck here. But And then this is another area of his studio. He's got it set up like an Egyptian
That's
tomb.
cool.
So well, I'll go in there because we could darken it up really good and try to get the lights of the droids to show up pretty well. So we
This
didn't
looks
have.
like a choir singing.
Yeah. The
This
crypt.
looks like the last thing you see before the lasers start shooting.
Yeah, right. And then Bill's like, "Oh, you know what? We should dress you up like a Jawa."
Oh,
And
too
I'm like, "Oh,
funny.
you have a Jawa outfit?" I said, "I'm a little tall for Jawa," but he said, "Well, yeah, we got this thing." So he dressed me up like that. So not quite a Jawa, but very creepy looking alien with glowing eyes.
Perfect.
The mask actually that I'm wearing, so this is like a triple mashup here because this is a mask of a Melkorian. Is it Melkorian? I think it's Melkorian. I might, if I'm saying it right. Anyway, from an episode of Star Trek.
Oh God.
So I think in that episode, though, the eyes were not blue; they were more like a red or something. But anyway, yeah. So the droids with some sort of a Star Trek character.
How many droids
and
do you have
then
there?
and
How
then he's
many-
got all these old weird,
Hello?
machines he's built for different stories that he does, and he's got them sitting in the corner of the studio. So I said, "Oh, well, let's fire these up, and I'll just stack my droids around here like they're." Refurbishing some old equipment that they found. And
How many you got there?
how many droids?
Yeah.
I think I have around 20 total.
My God.
I mean, do you make them partner up so that you have them all when you leave, or did you maybe leave one behind? Can you tell?
Do your droids have a buddy system, Bill?
Yes. Well, yeah, for the most part, they kind of do, but I also know how many I should have. And so when I loaded them up, I loaded everybody up, and I had this one of those collapsible wagons that people, will fold up and put their kids in it and take them like to Jazz on the Green or something like that. I could get almost all my droids to fit in that, except for one, that guy down in the front there, the battle droid. You can see him down here in the bottom right corner. You kind of see him in the left there. Anyway, I got everybody loaded into the car, and then I'm looking around. I'm like, "Oh man, the battle droid. Where did we leave him?" It turned out at Bill Hedges, his basement, he's got multiple sets, and one of the sets is the inside of the Jupiter 2. The other one is the inside of a 1950s diner, and then he has another area that's kind of like a mad scientist lab. Well, I had set the battle droid down in the mad scientist lab while we were loading all the other droids into the Jupiter 2 inside set to take some pictures, and then he was kind of back out of the way, and I just didn't see him as I was loading everything else up. But
he was probably trying to escape.
Yeah, there he is. There's the battle droid. I don't know what he's doing something bad, I'm sure.
Tell me about these ones with legs. I'm not familiar with droids
Maybe
with
this
legs.
lever will let us all die.
Yeah, so the droids with legs. So if anybody watched The Mandalorian, you probably saw a droid, a ferry droid, driving the ferry barge down the lava river. And that droid had arms and legs, and the arms were using these big poles to push the
that's right.
boat through the lava river. And
so they're called ferry droids.
Yeah, these droids, all droids that you can custom make at Galaxy's Edge, the Star Wars theme park in Disneyland or Disney World. You go to Mubo's Droid Depot, and you can build one of these guys. And they were $99 to build a droid, but that's gone up now. It's like $120 for a droid.
Yes.
Wow.
And the price increased the day after we left to come home. So I got a few more droids in under the cheap price. But I think I have all the droids I need now, except for maybe one.
Oh boy.
But
That's what I say, Cat.
I'm being yelled at. I'm sorry.
All right. So, and
this is cute.
and then he's also got the interior of a movie studio in his basement. where you can sit and actually watch movies. So I put all the droids in there, and I had them watch the
Star Wars.
climactic scene from The Empire Strikes Back, where Darth Vader tells Luke he is his father, and then I had all the droids react.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cute.
Well, at least you didn't have them watch the end of episode 1 where all the droids are being cut down and killed by the Jedi.
Yeah, that would have been unfortunate.
Would have been cruel and unusual.
Yes.
Look at all
Indeed
these
it would.
things. Too funny.
And then let's see. Hold on. I wonder if I've got.
Oh, kitty.
Yeah. And so this is the inside of the Jupiter 2. We got the droids sitting in there. A little closer shot. So yeah, I mean, a pretty amazing job he did on recreating the
Yeah,
bridge.
that's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we stuck the droids around there, and
they're pushing buttons. They're going to take off.
yeah, doing stuff. They're getting the ship ready for launch. And then this was a night scene. We did a little night scene there. So, and special thanks to Bill Hedges, because the camera on his cell phone is far superior to the one on my iPhone. So all
Really?
these, I think all these pictures were taken by him. So
Oh my gosh. What kind of a cell phone does he have?
sort
of an Android thing.
I think it's a Samsung. It's like a fold out one. So you fold it out and it's like a double sized screen.
Galaxy Fold.
Yeah. So
nice shots.
Oh yeah, really nice. He said he doesn't use his regular camera anymore; just uses that. So
well, they're getting pretty good.
But yeah, he likes to have people come up there and check out his studio. And there's a lot of local area film projects where they go up there and use his facilities, and a lot of that he just lets them use for free. And if you watch the show much, you'll probably be familiar with Katie Otten, who's a local actor. And she's been in a lot of his Cosmic Cat series. Yeah, there's a picture of his 50s diner, and it's kind of designed to be a little bit like the diner used in the Back to the Future. So it's got a lot of Back to the Future references in there. There's a DeLorean in there. There's a recreation of a newspaper with a story on the clock tower, the being repaired or something, and a lot of that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's pretty cool place. So it's a shame that it's about an hour's drive north of Omaha. So if it was here in Omaha, I'm sure it'd be a lot more popular. It'd be a lot more people using those facilities for stuff. So, but yeah, it was a good time. So we usually go up there in the spring for Cosmic-Con.
Cosmic-Con.
Yep.
I have yet to go to a Cosmic-Con.
You have, but you've been up to see Bill Hedges.
I have been up to see Bill Hedges.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll have to rectify that. All right. Well, anything else anybody wants to talk about? I see I noticed today that they've picked a new companion for Doctor Who for the 15th season. And now I'm probably going to be looking for her name.
We've had a few, I'll just mention, we had a few.
Millie Gibson?
Yes.
Hello. We've had a few episodes of Bill Hedges' Place. Episode 25 was Cosmic Cats After Dark. Episode 80 was Cosmic-Con. I think that was the first year. Episode 120, Constellation 11. Included some of that information. And episode 121, Cosmic-Con 2022.
Nice. Yeah, Millie Gibson, and the 15th Doctor is going to be in Kuti Gatwa, who is currently has been playing in Coronation Street, I guess. So anyway, yeah, but that doesn't start, I don't think, until November of next year. So quite a ways off, but they're getting a whole new cast. They're going back to the original showrunner, Stephen Moffat, I think. yeah, so so it should be good. Looks to be interesting. And they also had this year there were only 3 Doctor Who episodes that came out. They were specials. One was in January, one was in I think June or July, and then the last one came out on October 23rd. And all 3 of those featured, I think all 3 of them featured David Tennant, or either that or it was just the last one maybe that was David Tennant, and Jodie Whittaker handed off or regenerated from her character into David Tennant's character as now the 14th Doctor. So our friend Josh, who plays the 10th Doctor all the time, I'm going to have to clarify with him now every time I see him as the Doctor, as that Doctor, whether he's the 10th or the 14th. Since it's the same actor. So anyway, anybody have anything else they want to throw out there?
No, I think that's good.
Yeah.
All right. Sounds good. I think coming up here, one of our upcoming episodes, we should do a D&D episode because I'm looking into DMing my own game or games coming up here in January. So I've been looking into a lot of that stuff for DMs. So if anyone's ever been thinking about becoming a dungeon master for Dungeons and Dragons, that might be an interesting episode for you to check out. I'll let you know what I've found in my research and how I'm going to end up doing my DMing here. So it should be fun. We did. I will say that our friend Benito, who DMs a game that Linda, Seth, Chris, and I are in.
Can you be this kind of dungeon master?
Linda, you haven't seen me lately. I already am.
Well, he's got a kilt, though.
Well, I've got a kilt. I just have to put it on.
Oh, that's awesome.
We looked into so folks that are maybe into D&D might be aware of D&D Beyond's purchase by Wizard of the Coast, and the fact that they're working on a whole new iteration of Dungeons and Dragons called 1D&D. And so currently Seth and Chris and Linda and I, we play using a product called Fantasy Grounds, which is got a ton of functionality in it. But with the news of 1D&D, we started looking at the possibility of, well, maybe rather than investing more money in Fantasy Grounds, let's look at investing money going forward into D&D Beyond. So Benito and I got on the other day and started working with it. And the current D&D Beyond, I mean, it's really good at generating characters if you want to use the character builder. And it's got an encounter builder, but it's in beta, and you can't really target characters with it. It's a pretty manual thing, and there's not a lot of other functionality as far as being able to upload maps and a lot of stuff. So for right now, it's really subpar, and Fantasy Grounds seems to be, at least from our experience, the way to go at the current time. So we're going to stick on that platform at least for the next year and see where D&D Beyond goes, where Wizards of the Coast takes that whole thing. So
Cool.
I was listening to a podcast yesterday, and a gentleman was talking about the fact that I guess D&D Wizards of the Coast is owned by Hasbro.
Oh.
I didn't know that.
Yes, that was a more recent change.
Yeah, and so he was saying that the third quarter revenue for D&D for Hasbro. So D&D, I guess, makes up a very large percentage of Hasbro's revenue throughout the year because it's very sustained normally throughout the year. And other than that, really, Christmas time is a big time for Hasbro for selling toys. But their second and third quarter revenues for D&D stuff was way down. And that's been blamed on a couple of new releases. Strixhaven, I think, wasn't very well received. And then the Space Jammer series enhancement for D&D stuff was really not liked at all. It was supposed to be like D&D only set in space, but yet they didn't have any rules for spaceship combat. So
wow.
yeah, so yeah, people were really upset with it, and it hasn't sold worth a darn. So the guy who was the head of product development or the head of D&D for Hasbro, he announced his departure after the third quarter revenues were released.
Whoops.
Whereas in just a few months ago in July, when they came out with the one D&D announcement and the big video for all of that, he was kind of front and center in that whole video announcing the whole new direction for one D&D. So, yeah, so I'm sure it was a surprise to him that he was leaving.
Ugh.
Yeah, oopsie.
So
my understanding of one D&D isn't that it's going to be a whole new edition, but rather building on top of the 5th edition rules.
it's going to be building on top of that, but there may be some changes to simplifying rules. And from what I've seen, it sounds like they will be revising the core rule books. You can still play with the old rule books, but
I think that was the key thing, is that all the source books for 5th edition would still be compatible,
right?
So that people wouldn't have to rebuy everything again.
Right. Yeah, it just makes me wonder how much of that's going to be, how easily that'll be maintainable in their one D&D virtual tabletop platform. You'd probably have to have some way of going in, and I guess it probably wouldn't be that difficult just to say which version that you're going to play on, I suppose.
Yeah.
And then the rule set would be adjusted accordingly. But, it's going to be work maintaining rule sets for a bunch of different editions, I would think. So,
well, I mean,
Although
other companies already do that. Like Fantasy Grounds maintains rule sets for Pathfinder 3.5, 4, and 5.
yeah, true.
So, I mean, the system, it can be done and has
Just
been.
needs the work.
Yeah. Well, and I suppose too that once you've built the rules for 5e, if they're not going to be altering those rules going forward and they're set, once you build it, it's built, right?
Yeah, I mean, if they're building on top of 5e, it's not going to be too hard to just have a slider that says original 5e content or updated content.
Yeah, right. Yeah, well, it'll be interesting to see. It's doesn't sound like the one D&D is going to be ready to be used until like January of 2024. So we've got slightly over a year yet before it's available. Although they were doing some play testing of the one D&D stuff just to get, people's opinions as to how playable it was. So, but you would think though, if there wasn't that many changes to D&D 5e, that they wouldn't have had to have this play test to determine playability.
Well, I mean, anytime you change or you make changes to a system like D&D, you go through a ton of testing, just because us D&D nerds are horrible, awful goblin people who will take your rules, find a way to abuse them, and make something that ruins your game.
Right.
Isn't that our job? I'm sorry.
That is our job, but it is their job to make our job harder.
Right.
So that not everyone's running around with a level 1 paladin character who they've twinked into being absolutely immortal.
Right.
Twinked.
Yeah, that's what it's called. Twink.
If
Twink or
so.
Twink or min-max.
Yeah.
It's a whole character building play style where you just build the most deviant character you can.
I love it.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with making your character as powerful as you can, but the purpose of the rules and the play testing is to kind of put limits on that and to make sure that they don't accidentally introduce a
world-breaking
weird thing. So here's one. Here's a kind of a fun one. Have you ever heard of a coffee lock?
No.
All right, so warlocks get their spells back anytime they take a long or a short rest, whereas other spell casting classes can get their or have.
You're
to
really
do a
going
long
down a
rest.
rabbit hole here, guys.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
really quick. So if a sorcerer has an ability where they have your spell points, your sorcery points, and you can use those to get spell slots back, and you can use. Then you combine that with the warlock class's ability to get their spell slots back at a short rest, and combine the two into a character who never needs to take a long rest and has functionally in infinite spell slots. Because
Nice.
you can just take 8 short rests instead of 1 long rest, and in between every one convert sorcery points into spell slots, and so that's what the playtesting is trying to stop, is people like that.
I'm going to be scrutinizing your character going forward, Seth. Any new characters you make. Yeah, fun. All right, well, cool. Well, thank you all for listening. Hope you enjoyed this episode, and watch for an upcoming episode where we'll be talking about how to DM Dungeons and Dragons for fun and profit. Well,
Wait,
fun.
where's the profit?
Yeah.
It's like
Well,
this
profit for the companies that are selling this stuff to us. So
Right.
Who could always be the next Matthew Mercer? You don't know.
well,
He
that's
might be a
possible.
talent that's been hidden from the world until now.
Anything's possible.
I can attest to that.
Yeah. All right, folks. Well, thanks for listening. We will see you next time. Have a good week. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Galactic Driftwood podcast. For more information and past episodes, please visit our website at galacticdriftwood.space or subscribe to us on YouTube. And now, please deactivate your cranial downlinks, collect your towels, and be sure to watch your step as you exit our gravity well.